What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is day number 5 of our Bourbinsane Whiskey Advent Calendar. We are drinking the 25 Drams of Christmas. Today, we are back and we are drinking another rye whiskey. Now, I mentioned in my last video, this is a rye that's pretty highly debated amongst the whiskey world. This is Sagamore Rye. Now, Sagamore is a very interesting bottle and a very interesting company. This is coming out of Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. And what they do is they actually still source from MGP. But they don't just source and slap a label on it, put it in a bottle. They are taking kind of the High West approach, where they're blending these barrels together, MGP barrels, to get the flavor profile they want. And I did a review of the full Sagamore lineup thanks to my patron, Christopher David. Hooked me up, he lives over there, he hooked me up with the whole lineup. Incredible experience, and I was really impressed with this distillery. We'll go back to their base expression and see how it comes up, but what they're doing is they're blending 3 of MGP's mash bills. So the famous 95.5 rye mash bill from MGP. Now for those of you that don't know, MGP is a huge whiskey and just spirits producing company located in Indiana. They produce a lot of spirits for smaller craft distilleries, and that's kind of who these craft distilleries buy from before they have enough product of their own age to put out. So 95.5 is one of the recipes that they use. They also use a barely legal rye, which is a 51% rye, 49% barley, and then also 51% rye, 45% corn mash bill. So they blend all 3 together, the flavor profile they want. Pretty cool. I mean, pretty cool. The other thing is this is from Maryland. So this is what they call a Maryland rye. And reading about this, it really had more to do with the water. So kind of like how Kentucky has, the water source, limestone filtered water. It's the same kind of concept with Maryland from what I was reading. And this does come in at 41.5%, so pretty basic proof. I mean, pretty much that 40 proof, just slightly elevated from that. But it is a rye whiskey. And like I said, I've been on a big rye kick lately, so let's go into it here. Very light color in my light here. Almost a light copper looking color, I mean lighter than that even probably. Almost no legs on this. No age statement on this whiskey also, but it's said to be over 4 years, so that's pretty good for a rye. Not too bad for a rye, Let's go into the nose. So immediately on the nose it smells like a rye whiskey. It does. It does not have the characteristic bourbon, the caramel vanilla you expect. It's more orange peel, like the rind of an orange. Definitely peppery. I mean, a lot of pepper. Some of those earthy, grassy notes come through, and when I say that, I mean more the rye earthiness, not as much the alcohol burn earthiness. Fortunately, it does not have that ethanol burn on the nose. It's not kicking me in the face with that ethanol burn. Maybe that's just because it's such low proof. But it also is telling me it's not super young either, because even rye whiskey, even though it ages faster than bourbon in general, you can tell if something's pretty young. The clove is there, which is a pretty common rye note for me. A little bit of cinnamon, but it's more that orange peel, man. I'm getting a lot of that orange peel. Let's give it a sip. Happy day 5 of our 25 Drams of Christmas. Cheers. So, another typical rye note, depending on the rye you get, is dill, and that came through for me on the palate. I wasn't really picking it up as much on the nose, but the palate, I definitely got that dill note. And with MGP rye, especially at least not the barrel proof, I tend to pick that up. It seems like that dill note is present for me. The palate definitely had that orange kick as well. So orange zest, as I mentioned, the rind and the orange. I mean, that is really, really predominant on this whiskey for me. It's got good flavor, really. I have to say, I'm very impressed with the way they're blending. I mean, I think they're doing a good job. Once they put out their own product, I think they're going to be a successful company. Because the flavors that you're getting out of the whiskey is really good. And I always say, MGP products in general, I'm a fan of. you kind of have to really screw up MGP to be, I mean, to have a bad MGP product. But it doesn't taste bad. I mean, it does not taste bad. I just wish it was amplified in proof. That's my biggest complaint. I wish the proof was higher. They do make a cast strength expression of this, which is very, very good. That may show up in this calendar, so stay tuned. We'll see. It's solid. I mean, it's solid. I don't really have too many complaints. It doesn't taste youthful, which is a win. To me, it's very like 3-noted though. I mean, kind of that grassy, earthy note a little bit. The orange peel, and then that dill note. I mean, those are kind of the 3 things I'm getting. Nothing too substantial. The finish is very small, very weak. And that's probably due to the proof. As I mentioned, the cast strength substantially improves on that. Gives you a lot more on that. So that's the reason. But the only major complaint with Sagamore in general is the price. Now again, this is still considered a craft distillery. Higher operating costs with startups always. So this bottle does come in right around $50. I mean, between $40 and $50. That's tough. I mean, that is tough because it's a rye whiskey. Ryes tend to be cheaper in general. When we're talking a $50 rye, my mind immediately goes to Pikesville. Pikesville rye is fantastic, and it's barrel proof, or virtually barrel proof, you know? So it's, man, I mean, I would take that all day over this rye. Not that this rye is bad, I just think I'm a proof whore. I really am. So, so the higher the proof, the better for me. And this just leaves that lacking proof that I want. I mean, it doesn't give me the mouthfeel or the finish I want. Whereas something in the $50 range, like a Pikesville, would do that for me. Thank you all so much for joining me for day number 5 of our Whiskey Advent Calendar. Tomorrow we have got another really good budget bourbon, honestly. As I mentioned, I'm starting with budget options. We're going to work our way up to some more expensive stuff and some higher proof stuff. But this is another budget option that's actually kicked up in proof a little bit. But it's about $10. You can get it for $10. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think is going to be coming out tomorrow? What bourbon do you think is about $10, a little higher in proof, and something you can actually tolerate drinking? I appreciate y'all hanging out today. Stay insane, everyone.